Wow.
Yeah.
It is mouthful.
Yeah.
So now you spent just under a year at Cedar Waterberg, and then you got a call from the Premier's office.
Yeah, it was a gentleman that was, actually it was initially a subcontract tender that was being administered through CETA, and then, because then we were on a special project.
CETA, the CITA.
Sorry?
CETA, the SITA.
SITA, yes.
Yeah, that is the technology agency.
Yes. So my role there was basically what we call innovative entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And it was actually consolidating almost everything that I've done before into this new thing. Entrepreneurship, innovative, and the question of innovation hubs, and we're actually exploring the concept of an innovation hub kind of a thing, to say, if we had to do that kind of a thing, how do we go about it?
Yes.
So I actually worked on that concept, and my role, that was my role within Office of the Premier. And today that project has been transformed into, I think they're calling it what now? I forgot the name. It's still running under leader now, currently as we speak.
Yeah.
That project, it's still running. It's a formalized program. It's out of Office of the Premier. It's now under leader.
Yes.
And I interacted quite a lot with the Department of Science and Technology in terms of the innovation strategies, and I actually participated also very extensively on the Limpopo Innovation Strategy, which was drawn in collaboration with the Human Sciences Research Council.
Yes.
And I was the lead project manager for that, for that project. And that project, it actually then recognizes the innovations by our indigenous people. It actually recognizes all the non-academic innovations, and even the non-IT innovations, because there's this bias that innovation is about a computer.
Yes.
And my view on that was that you cannot be talking innovation in the sense that to somebody who doesn't have water and sanitation to say you must buy a computer. It won't make sense.
Yeah. But
it can only make sense to say, how do you survive in a situation where you don't have boreholes, you don't have water, and then how do you survive? I mean, that is what innovation is about for different areas like ourselves. And that's what I actually tried to advance then.
Yes.
And my project was called Limpopo Living Labs. And if you check on my profile, Reuben Rammbuda, you'll see there's also a document that we wrote in collaboration with a program called COFISA.
Yes.
Which was a cooperation between Finland and South Africa. There's a document that talks about Limpopo Living Lab. It was actually that document was written by myself on behalf of the province, where we say if Limpopo has to innovate to participate within this space, these are the kind of strategies that the province can focus on.
Yes, I do remember that era of the Living Labs. Where is that organization, the Finnish organization? Is it still? Are they still pushing that?
I am not sure now as to, because that Finnish program, I think, had to expire after a particular period.
Yes.
I've lost a bit of track on the program thereof. But the work that has been done on the program, this part of it which is being advanced by the Limpopo Economic Development Agency.
Wow. And for how long were you on that project?
I think about four and a half years or so.
And it was a term contract.
It was a term contract. They would renew that every year, whatever.
And at this time, you are no longer too sensitive to these contracts. you are so assured that you will never be unemployed?
Yes.
Or you are already an entrepreneur in your mind?
Yeah, I've always been, I would say, I've always been, when I found myself, I realized that I've always been an entrepreneur. My late dad was an entrepreneur, was a handyman. He was doing these wooden spoons and all these other mifaro.
Yes.
Yes. So, and when I grew up, my father was not working for anybody, so as that I've always been an entrepreneur.
Yes. But I mean, in the earlier years of your employment, you were very nervous whenever they were doing those restructuring. And you'll fly out, you'll try and fly out before it catches you. But this time it sounds like you could just be called and then you will just leave and you'll not worry about. I mean, you were with CEDA, which was an employment, and then they call you for a project with Living Labs and you just left.
Indeed, sir. Because, I mean, I learned in the process to grow within your comfort zone. Growth happens, in your uncomfort zone. Yes. And I had to move and although they say moving whatever gathers no mouse, but
a rolling stone.
I've got quite a lot of learning throughout the process, and it was quite the interactions at the level of the general manager. It was quite something else, and also the innovation hub. I worked very close with the innovation hub in Pretoria, under the leadership of the late Dr. Cummins. Yes. We were very close, and he was my mentor within the innovation space. And I think we made quite a lot of, input to the Limpopo innovation strategy to date. And I'm happy to see a few of the ideas and approaches being advanced by under the Limpopo Economic Development Agency. Well, it's so fulfilling to see something that you participated in still up and running. There's also the other forum that I started, which is Limpopo Innovation Forum, which is still up and running. It's actually led by a gentleman called Pasha. Mr. Pasha is still running that proudly, and wow. And it's something good that we can look back and appreciate. And when I was with also the Premier, then I was recruited by Dimension Data. Yes. As the regional general manager of Limpopo. So that was
corporate. Now corporate or what?
It's corporate.
Yes.
Dimension Data is corporate.
Yes. Wow.
So I was the regional general manager. And then that role actually exposed me to a lot of selling, which I realized I'm not really a salesperson because technology is difficult to sell.
But who was their target client then in Limpopo?
My target client was basically government.
Yes.
And that government moves like a Titanic. They'll promise a project, like by then they were talking of broadband, and you'll be grilled to say there's this broadband thing. How far is it? I mean, government is slow. No. So I just got fed up so quick. I think I spent less than a year, if not a year. Yeah. I was already like, no, this is not my thing. Then I moved into entrepreneurship.
Wow. Yeah, which is where you are now.
Yeah, where I am now, I'm 9.5 years into my own business, and I'm focusing on bookkeeping and entrepreneurship, and coaching and mentorship is actually, I would say, a cherry on the top. Okay. But basically, it's bookkeeping and entrepreneurship.
So, and what's the name of your enterprise?
The name of my enterprise is Zwazireni, which are the first names of the first letters of my kid's name. The first Zwa is for Zwabudi. The Z is for Ziwuya. And then the RE is for Renani. Then the MI is for Mishumu.
Wow.
And the four kids,
Yeah. They are the Limpopo boys. They've always been happy in Limpopo. And is their grandmother still alive? Your mom?
No, she passed on when I was born, remember?
Your grandmother? I'm talking about their grandmother, your mother.
My mom, no, she passed on in 2006.
But did they get to know her?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes.
And and then you live in Luistrichat.
No, I'm in Blukwane. I live in Blukwane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I live in Blukwane, but I still have a place in Venda. I've got a property in Venda and then so I've got a property there.
And your office is in Blukwane as well.
My office is in Blukwane currently. Yeah.
No, you are the grandfather of entrepreneurship in Limpopo.
Indeed, so yeah, we have actually come a long way, and we've seen lots of successes and failures, and failures for me, these are lessons,
Wow, that's
And what I forgot to say is that even when I was still during my last years, especially when I was still at Office of Premier, I then enrolled for a master's degree with the University of Liverpool.
Yes.
Which I managed. I registered in 2009 and
yes.
I completed in 2011.
Wow! And that was masters in
international business management.
Wow!
Yeah.
Was that distance or online?
It was online, yes.
Yes. And did you go to Liverpool to graduate?
I didn't graduate. It was in absentia.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to, but by the time I had to, it caught me off guard. Yeah. And I realized I still have the sting because I got, I think, how many B's? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 B's.
Wow.
And three C's.
Wow.
And it was quite interesting to be back. And when I wanted to enroll for PhD, my son was doing something, so I realized, maybe let me give him
for some other time. But this is beautiful, the way you have balanced your practical experience with theory of business, and it's quite amazing. And I'm just sitting here thinking, from University of Venda to University of Liverpool.
Yeah.
So no education is less important in one's journey, right?
It's true.
But now, I want us to talk a little bit more about your enterprise now, so are you the single partner? Do you have other partners, or is?
Currently, I'm the single partner, but I do have
associates.
I've got one full-time staff, and then I also have 2 off-site assistants who actually assist me with especially with bookkeeping.
Yes.
So if I'm overwhelmed with the bookkeeping administration, then I've got 2 bookkeepers who assist me off-site.
Yes.
They are off-site because they are also accountants. They just assist me.
I see. So you are basically a consulting enterprise.
Yes, I'm a consulting enterprise.
Yes. And most of your clients are in Limpopo, but do you also have national ones?
I currently have, my clients are actually highly, they're spread all over the country, I would say.
Yes.
I've got clients, I think I can mention some names.
Yes.
I've got corporate clients who are in Cape Town. I've got some who are in Gauteng. I've got, and then some who are who are mining houses.
Yes.
And then a few also in the province. Yes.
And when you ask them, what do they see as a value proposition from you? Why you?
Yeah, I think mostly they realize, they experience that I don't normally battle to do what I do because I love what I do.
Yes.
And I've got quite a number of options and approach. And I think the learning, the continuous learning attitude, I think also allows me to blend myself within, even if we talk the fourth industrial revolution,
yes.
I'm able to blend in because of my experience with the IT companies like Damation Data, in terms of, IT and some other angles around the fourth industrial revolution.
So you are not a number crunching accountant?
No. I do numbers, but I love most analysis of financials, and that's why I find myself even going an extra mile. When I do set of financials for my clients, I actually find myself going an extra mile where I'll sit with or give a call to my client to say, do you know what these numbers mean? It means this. This is the current ratio. This is what it means.
Yes.
It means you are trading on. But then I'm consolidating the banking experience into all these things, and which most accountants don't do. And in certain instances, I also incorporate with coaching, like with most of my retainers. I've actually built in a coaching and mentoring as part of the package.
Wow. You are, in my language, we have got a plant called chachu. Do you know it? Do you know chachu?
Yeah,
you are chachu, meaning that plant you can't pick it up because it was got thorns all around it.
Yeah.
When somebody is so versatile, you say, yes, you are like chachu. We don't know how to hold you, but that's excellent. Now, if somebody is listening to you and is a young somebody who's just listening to this story and he or she wants to emulate it, and then it's like, where do I start? What is the advice?
The advice is, no matter your situation, you can achieve whatever you set your mind on. And I say, if you can see it in your mind, you can achieve it. I always imagine myself somewhere else in a beautiful house, driving a beautiful car, with beautiful kids, and I've achieved those things through hard work. And I will say, hard work never kills anybody indeed. So you can actually, like I remember when studying through VET, I would spend sleepless nights because I also have 3 daughters. My daughters were just born. And when I would come home at times, they wouldn't sleep, and the other one would sleep when the other one wake up. And, imagine having to take care of that and still having to drive in the morning to vet business school. It's all hard work, and it never killed anybody, and it pays. To the young persons out there, I say, don't look at your situation and give up. You just have to focus. And focus is very, very important.
Yeah. And this struggle applies to all people of all kinds, né?
Indeed so.
Because sometimes we fool ourselves by thinking that other people don't go through what they go through. Maybe it's relative in terms of they may not have the same struggle as you, because perhaps maybe their parents had more money and had more privileges. But if they don't work hard, those privileges will just fly out of the window.
It's true. Like, for instance, wherever I worked, I made sure that if I'm appointed at a place and I'm a new person, I will make sure that the first week I knock off late.
Yes.
Because then I wanted to see the culture first.
Yes.
Of the organization.
Yes.
But if I had to work 8 to 4, 2 to 5, or half past 4, I wouldn't.
You don't get to see that culture.
Over the normal.
Yeah. But when you think back where you come from, do you think you have rewarded yourself enough for this?
Yes, I think I've rewarded myself enough. I've traveled the world. I've actually achieved quite a lot. In my lifetime, I'm not so sure if it's bragging, but I've driven close to 20 cars in and out, changing them. And I've achieved the master's degree. And I've earned the money that I think I wanted to earn in my lifetime. So I think I've achieved quite a lot.
And you laid good foundation for your children.
Indeed, so I've laid quite a very good foundation, I believe. Although I would say foundation is a foundation, but there's always innovations going forward, in terms of how they can innovate going forward on whatever has been built.
How do we resolve this dilemma that we're finding ourselves with? And that is, we have an economy with a growing unemployment and an economy that does not really embrace youth entrepreneurship, and yet we're saying that is the answer.
Yeah, I think the other thing is that I think I've seen it with the countries where I travel to, that entrepreneurship is not really a choice. It's actually there. Like, for instance, South Africa and Brazil, some few years they compared very favorably together. But now Brazil is there, South Africa is here, because Brazil actually then embraced entrepreneurship. And South Africa, we have got this sense of entitlement of saying, government must do this, government must do this, government must do this. And yet, we don't even want to actually pay our dues in terms of all the taxes. Like, for instance, in Finland, they've got free education, right? But the tax regime is extremely high.
Yes.
The average working person pays around 60% to tax.
Wow.
In Finland. But they're very rich, and again, also, in terms of their education system, you study until fellow, so which is post-doctorate,
yes,
for free, But we can't afford that because our tax, our tax, our income is under.
Our base is very low.
It's very low, and it's under extreme pressure now. Because everybody is entitled to this and that and that and that.
And if you and I are to talk selfishly, as the people who are still have yes, I hate, and then you have children that needs to have a better future.
Yeah.
We should be saying, hold, Okona, as we say, stop here. Yeah. Let's retool this thing. This way of running the country is not sustainable. Will you agree that it may have to come to that point where we say we have to reorganize this economy because it's not sustainable?
Yes, I think the economy needs to be, and I think I learned lately that the Minister of Finance is actually proposing changing the fundamentals, because I think one of the fundamentals for me is the spirit of voluntarism, which I saw prevailing in most of the European countries, where when it comes to issues of their countries, they volunteer. Like in our country, it's very common that you will find an unemployed math and science teacher, unemployed, roaming the street when the school next door doesn't have a math and science teacher.
Yes.
That's strange for me. You'll find, children studying under a tree when the church next door is standing empty and when the parents have paid to build a big church. So there's no that kind of, there's no that kind of collaboration between the stakeholders and government. Everybody says government must, and we forget that government is ourselves.
Yes. Wow. My brother, you and I can talk forever.
Thank you.
How do people get a hold of you?
Well, indeed, thank you very much. People can get me. I do have a website. It's www.zwabis.co.za. I'll repeat that, www.zwabis.co.za. And I'm also on Facebook. I'm Reuben Rammbuda. Reuben is Reuben. Rammbuda is Rambuda. On Facebook. And my number is 083 699 6600. 083 699 6600. On Facebook is easier. You can actually find me as Reuben Rammbuda.
And the email address?
The email address is rrambuda@gmail.com. It's RRAMMBUDA RAMBUDA@gmail.com. Rammbuda as of the surname @gmail.com.
Wonderful.
Thank you so
Can you just repeat that number using our international code?
Yes, it's 2783-699-6600.
Yeah, wonderful.
That's the mobile number.
Lovely. Thank you for your generosity in terms of sharing your story. We have certainly learned a lot from you.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Reuben Rammbuda, an entrepreneur, self-made, of course, working very hard through the corporate years and volunteering to help our country, and now has settled down on his own enterprise, based in Polokwane but nationally available. If you're looking for a bookkeeper, you're looking for a consultant, you're looking for a coach or mentor, he is available, and as shared with you, you can get him through those details. Once again, my name is Sam Zimmer. I am the CEO and the Executive Business Coach at Comesa GOC International. You can get hold of us at www.comesa-goc.com. And as said before, you are also welcome to become a member of our NPO, Comesa Friends and Supporters Club, NPO. That's where we build a big network, and you can be part of that as well. The website is www.comesaclub.africa, and you can apply for membership online. Everything happens digitally. You are welcome to send us email at callcenter@comesa-goc.com. And to tune into Comesa Radio Africa, you can use www.comesaclubradio.africa. We thank you for tuning in. We are looking forward to welcoming you at our next broadcast. Goodbye and take care.